Hey, welcome everybody. Hope you're having a great day. This is Mark Harris with my illustrious co-host Alex Mandossian. And what we're doing here today, of course, is we've been talking about the power of community building, and especially as it relates to really getting high-end clients, or what Alex likes to call premium clients. And they really are premium clients because it's not just about the fact that they're high-end, and they're actually easier to deal with. They're easier to make money with. In fact, if you know how to do it, they're easier to convert, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're talking about how to do this with membership sites, and this kind of interesting little phenomenon that Alex has been working with for a while now, to actually bring people not only into a funnel, but bring them into a funnel where they pay, but also bring them into a funnel where they want to have a relationship with you, and they pay for the privilege, and they pay for the ongoing privilege, which means you got several levels of focus right there. I got this page going on here. I'm going to shut this off. So what actually happens here is, what's happening again? Give me 1 second here. I got this page up. I'm going to shut this off. I don't know why. Why am I hearing myself? Okay, here we go. Okay, sorry about that.
You got to turn the page off.
I know, because I just checked it. Okay, so anyway, what we're talking about here is literally creating an amazing series of ultra targeting, where you really take a huge market down to, from like 1 million down to 100,000, 100,000 down to 10,000 of people who want to give you who they are, want to have a relationship with you, and want to pay you, and then want to actually pay you on an ongoing basis. So you've now got that group of people. How do you convert them? How do you turn them into high fee clients, high end clients who will pay you thousands of dollars a month, hundreds of thousands a year, or whatever your high end offers are? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And so, Alex, let's go right into it.
All right. Well, you own the blue box, so
Yep,
you take it away. Now, one distinction is to address three terms that are the same thing, and they are high ticket, high end, or premium. Now, there's a problem with using these two words, because high ticket and high end many times are addressing products. And products, unless they're continuity, like in a membership site, are not appreciating. They're high profit, but they are not appreciating assets. They're assets, they're very profitable, but they don't appreciate. Premium clients appreciate. In fact, the more often they buy, the more they appreciate. So you're not selling a high ticket item. What you're doing is you're selling to or enrolling a high end, high ticket, or what I like to call premium client. And there's only two things you need to do with a premium client or a low end client: is attract them. Now, you can't sell them. You got to attract them in, and then convert them. And we talked about attraction in our first Hangout, and we got a bunch of people taking advantage of our special offer. I think 5 or 6 people said yes. It's a $1,000 offer, and I'm going to make the same offer to you today because we're filling up, right? It's happening in July, 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th of July in Oceanside, California. But what we're focused on is premium client funnels, because clients are assets, and they can be appreciating, and you can get them much faster to appreciate if you sell a higher dollar value more frequently, and if they buy the most recent, then they are the highest premium client you have, and that's what's called the funnel. Here's what's odd. It's actually a little bit paradoxical. It's not supposed to work logically, but it does work in business. The highest value client, meaning the person who paid the most. So let's say for me, someone who paid $25,000 versus $25. The one who paid $25,000 obviously is more valuable, right? Right. Now, the one who buys more frequently, so there's one who pays $25 and buys maybe twice a year. The one that buys $25,000 doesn't buy that same amount, but may buy 3 or 4 times a year. That's more frequency. So you have dollar value, that's high. You have frequency, that's high. You have one more, recency. So recency, frequency, and value. Those are the three things, a direct response going back many, many years. Recency is most recently purchased. Now here's the paradox. If you have someone who purchased $25,000 from you and purchases the most often compared to other clients and just purchased yesterday, that person is more likely to purchase again than someone who has purchased a week ago, purchases twice a year, and purchases only $25. Now you would think that that person has more wallet share, but that's not the way it works logically with marketing. So recency, frequency, dollar value, we'll be teaching you at the membership site intensive. It's not just about membership sites, it's about membership, which means members have an affinity with each other. Think of American Express. Think of someone who goes to Starbucks. Why are they paying 3-4 times more for a cup of coffee or a latte? Because they feel more like members. There's an experience there versus becoming a customer or someone who purchases a high ticket item. Someone who purchases, I couldn't find my flip chart, my action card, high ticket, high end. What you're looking for is premium clients. Yes, they're high ticket sales, but a sale of a high ticket product is not an ongoing revenue stream. A high end sale is not an ongoing revenue stream. A premium client is an ongoing revenue stream. So we're going to look at premium client funnels, and we're looking at conversion today, and that's where most people fall apart. Many times they think they can attract them, and they do, but they can't convert. PCF, premium client funnels, require 5 critical questions. And before I dive into each of these questions, Mark, let's talk about one important question, is why are we having this hangout, and why are people watching, in your opinion?
You know, the reason why I think most of our people are watching is ultimately, you know, I've actually talked to several of the people who actually come on board with what we talked about in the first session, which is about this whole idea of premium client marketing, which is so critically important to people who have great products, great innovation, great people who can actually help their marketplaces in a great way. They have this idea that they believe can change the world, or at least change a segment of the world that they can serve. And it's really beautiful, but the problem is sometimes in order for them to serve them, it costs the client 10 grand or 5 grand or 50 grand or whatever it is. And so they have this challenge of being able to go from, you know, I have this great innovation, and it takes me a lot of time, effort, money, know-how, investment to actually serve these clients. Therefore, I have to get a large sum of money, but it seems like I've been struggling with this, what you call a traditional funnel situation, where I got to sell a $1, $25 product to begin with in order to get where I want to go. But see, this approach allows you to go straight to the people you can serve and help them quickly. And I think that's what everybody's looking to see, and that's why we're here. We're here to show you how you can actually use this whole idea of membership and bringing people who want to have a relationship with you, want to pay for the opportunity, and they want to pay for the ongoing opportunity to continually pay you, because you can bring value to them. And of course, that process is a lot different than, say, just internet marketing or just selling a simple product. It takes literally working with people who are on the high end, but we call them premium clients. So it's really important. So that's why I think.
Let's say your current level of marketing self-esteem. Let's say you have self-esteem in other areas, in your spiritual life, in your physical life. Let's say in your emotional life with your spouse or children. You're a world-class dad or mom, or you're a world-class son or daughter. But in marketing, you know, in the inner game of marketing and in business, you have low self-esteem. It happens. In fact, there's no one who's immune to that, especially when you compare yourself with other people getting better results. It's a natural phenomenon. So if you're in denial of that, then I want to get you out of that denial, because everyone's in it. And I've heard said, you don't get richer, you just reach a new level of poverty. I have an old friend who's no longer living, who took their life as a billionaire. They lost $4 billion, billion with a B. They still had $1 billion left, but losing 80% of their net worth was too much for them, and they took themselves out. Now imagine, now that may seem silly or ridiculous, but it didn't seem that way to that person. And I've talked to some billionaires, I know 4 of them personally, they said, no, that's not ridiculous, because their self-esteem is wrapped up and defined differently. So I don't know what you attach meaning to, but I do know this. let's say you could get a $10,000 client if you spoke to them every day, every weekday. You had 2 days off, 2 Sabbath days, one Sabbath day and one vacation day. How's that, right? And then you talk to them 5 days a week. Now, that's about 250 days a week you would talk to them. And let's say you talk to them for 20 minutes a day, talking and imparting your knowledge. Hey, let's push the envelope. 30 minutes a day. That's a lot, right? Well, would you charge 10 grand, $10,000 for someone to talk to you for 30 minutes a day? I think you would. I think there's an area of interest that you have, and there's an area of expertise you have that is worth that. Now, my level of marketing self-esteem or marketing ability, the bar is higher than that. I wouldn't talk to them every single day. In fact, that is half a day of consulting for me. Wasn't always that way, but it is now, because of supply and demand and because of knowledge and the number of mistakes I've made. I know what is by getting rid of what isn't. But don't you agree that you could sell $10,000 to someone if you were to coach them, consult them, talk to them, whatever your product was? You don't have to have one. Just a body of knowledge. If they paid you 10 grand, you talk to them every day, 5 days a week for a whole year. Mark, is that a reasonable statement for me to make? Yes?
I believe so. I believe the average person would have absolutely no problem with that. If you do the math, the hourly figure is pretty high, and I think most people would, on average, would have no problem with that. I think that's a really good
well, if you figure out your hourly figure, I mean, you can do the math now, but it's what, 250, I don't know how many weekdays in the year, but 250, 275
sure.
times
125 hours a year, so it's 100 hours. You got basically $100
Yeah, I mean, what you're looking at is, let's see, 30 minutes a day, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours a week, right? Times 52. You got 130 hours a week, right? And $10,000 divided by 130, you're looking at about $75 an hour. Anyone is worth that. 75 bucks an hour. That's all we're talking. I think your self-esteem could handle that. Okay? And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm saying, okay, isn't that something that's preferable? So $10,000, right, times one client, okay? That's called victory. Or, I'm writing this down so you see it, or you have to get $100 times 1,000. Now, which do you think is easier? I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to make the statement. Do you think this $10,000 times 1 is easier than this? Or do you think getting 1,000 people at $100 is easier than this? You be the judge. I have no idea which you think is easier or not. I just think it's easier to get one of these guys or gals. And by the way,
and what's really easier is if you do get the 1,000, how you got to deal with the 1,000 people instead of the one.
Well, let me tell you something. How many problem children, if all of these people, if everyone you sell is a problem child, how many problem children do you have here? You have 1,000 of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think you can even get to a $10,000 person if you have 1,000 problem children? Okay. Now, how many problem children do you have here? 1. Do you talk to them every day? Yes. You get to diffuse that problem child? Yeah, you do. So if everyone you ever spoke to was a problem child, my case is you decide. I'm not going to choose for you which one is easier. So don't let your self-esteem get in the way when you actually do the math at 75 bucks an hour. This is something that I'm going to be teaching you at the Membership Site Intensive, is find members at $10,000 versus $1,000, or excuse me, at $100 because you need 1,000 of them. Actually, even if you have $1,000 clients, why find 100 of them? You still got 100 problem children. All right. So let's assume you can get that $10,000 person. Got it? Well, what if I showed you a fast, easy, and rejection-free way to do it? Would that capture your interest? And here's the funny thing. The moment you get your first sale, it makes you more confident for your second. The moment you get your second sale, it automatically makes you more confident for the third. Is that a fair statement, Mark? I don't want to make statements that are not fair. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. Okay. When as soon as you do anything, it automatically gives you confidence that you can at least do that again and usually go a little further.
Because you're proving the concept. Now, when you get a $10,000 sale, are you confident to get a second one? Yes. How much money have you made? 20 grand.
Yeah.
When you've made a $100 sale and you're super confident, how much do you make on the second sale? Another 100. So would you prefer 20,000 or 200 as you're building your confidence? Now you get that second sale, and that third sale becomes another 10K. Now you got $30,000 coming in. You got to talk to 3 people every single day, and you're making 75 bucks an hour on them. Are you going to raise your price because now you're not willing to put up with that low fee anymore? Are you with me? This
Yes.
is what happens. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
it's really a supply and demand if you think about it, right? Because eventually, I mean, you got technically 16 slots if you use the whole day for that, right? So at some point, you're going to say, you know what? I got 160 grand coming in a year. I got 16 slots. I filled them all at 8 hours a day, kind of thing. And so now you got to say, what? You know what? I can't bring on somebody else for $10,000. I need to go to 15, 20, or 25.
if you're capable of selling 1,000 people, then why not go up here?
Yeah.
Because even if you thought you couldn't sell 1,000 of these, you could probably sell 10, and that's 100K, or 100, that's a million. So I just want you to start thinking about the economics of this, because when you do, you never go back. And that brings us to
Don't say it yet, because I'm going to say one more thing. And say, did you notice where Alex started here? Okay, he started in your mind because, you know, ultimately true thought leadership and all success begins in the mind. Think and grow rich, right? It's all about really making sure that you believe you can do it, and therefore he's trying to make it simple so you can understand that, look, you can jump to this. You can actually take this. He's done it with lots of people, so he can do it with you, and therefore you can see yourself making this happen. It's got to start there, and that's beautiful. Thanks, Alex.
I want you to click the button you see on this website so we can interview you to see if you're eligible for us to teach you more, because you're going to learn something today, but today this is probably something you haven't heard of because I just made it up. PCFs, right? Those are premium client funnels, and they require 5 critical questions. Now, these are critical questions. There are other questions involved, but these are 5 that have worked for me. And when I test something and it works, I start teaching it because I can make more money from it, and we prove the concept. That's all we're doing. Here's question number 1. What's your downsell? Huh? What's your downsell? That's your first question. Alex, what do you mean? What part of that did you not understand? When you have a premium offer, I want to know, the first question is, what is your downsell? Well, why are you asking what my downsell is? Don't you want to know what my primary sell is, or my core sell, or whatever my high ticket, high end offer or premium sell is? No, I don't want to know about that. Why, Alex? Is because I'm assuming you're not going to get that sale. I'm assuming you're not. So I want you to have a downsell so that you can have plan B ready. Now, the second 1A is, what's your second downsell? So basically, what are your down sales? I recommend 2, not 1, 2. I have 2 down sells. My primary sell, or I call, here's the second question, my core sell. What's my core sell? Okay, my core sell is this. It is a $25,000 deep dive. What's a deep dive? That's diving deep into your business, and I focus on other people's funnels. They come into this office right here, or if they're in Perth, Australia, which is really far away, or in London, England, and they don't want to fly, then I'll do sessions with them on Skype, 2 4-hour sessions. The 8-hour day, they come in here, and typically that's what they prefer to do, and then we go deep into what their funnel looks like. We create their funnel, and I teach them how to create a high-end funnel first, because a high-end funnel is exactly like a low-end funnel. High-end customers are like low-end customers. Only high-end customers fund the problems they create for you. Low-end customers cost you more money. High-end customers make you more money and fund your children's education, your legacy, your bank accounts. They add a couple zeros to it, possibly. Low-end customers take zeros away because they are gnawing at you through their entitlement. I'm only being half kidding. And finally, high-end clients are more fun because after you hang up the phone because they just beat you up or they complained or whatever the worst thing you could possibly think of happened, you are smiling because you have more money from them, for me $25,000, than $25. I'm weeping at $25 versus $25K. So the money does make a difference when they have problems. I'm a problem solver. I'd rather solve $25,000 funded problems versus $25. funded problems. Am I making sense?
And one of my mentors, Jim Roden, would always tell us, he said, you know what, this allows you to handle your problems in style. You know, you're because we all have challenges and issues and problems we got to solve, but you know what, you might as well handle them in style. And if you have the money coming in, of course, you can actually make that happen. So it's good stuff.
That's 100% correct. So I want to know what your core sell is. So my core sell is a $25,000 deep dive. They come in here, they work with me for a full day, and then there's 3 months of follow-up with open office hours, which I'll talk about at the event, the membership side intensive. Learn more about it by clicking the button in front of you. But here's the thing, my down sells, I have 2 of them, and I sell a bunch of these. My down sells, I sold one yesterday. I sold one yesterday teaching this. I wasn't even selling. I was teaching how to do it, and I sold one, right? Now my downsell is $3,000, and I have a $3,000 downsell for private consulting, and I have a finite number of one-on-ones, 30 minutes, right? $3,000, 6 of them, right? And then I have open office hours for $1,500 if the $3,000 is out of their budget. So $25K, $3K, and $1,500. And for the $3K, they ask me a question, and I answer the question. I'm not giving them a curriculum. I'm saying, what are we focusing on today? And it is the most enjoyable 30 to 40 minutes I have. Those clients are my favorite, and they end up becoming joint venture partners. So those are the first 2 questions that you need to have with your conversion. What's your downsell? You better have one. And what is your core sale? What's your main product? So for a $10,000 product, your downsell could be, let's say, $2,000 or $1,000, and then your second downsell could be $500, but nothing less than that. Third question is, what are your gap questions? What's a gap? A gap is from where they are right now to where they want to be. So during a strategy session or a rapid revenue session, as I call it, or an eligibility interview, it depends what you call it. Strategy sessions have been made very useful through, I think 2 people have had more impact than any other 2, in my opinion. And they're both friends of mine. I haven't seen them in a while, but they're both friends. One is Kevin Nations, and the other one is Frank Kern. And they really have, I think, mastered the strategy session concept. And that's where I first heard it maybe a decade ago, 10 years ago. But you know, whether you call it a strategy session or rapid revenue session, or just an eligibility interview, which I love because it can be a soft topic, and you're finding out if they're eligible, and you're vetting them, you know, for your high-end offer. You want to know what the gap is. So what are your gap questions? Here are mine. Okay, who's your ideal client, and what are the top 2 results you want from them? Let me repeat. Who's your ideal client, and what are the top 2 results you want from them? Clients are high-end, customers are low-end. You want to get the best clients? Those are members, right? So who's your ideal member, and what are the 2 results that they want? Okay, so in my case, my ideal client, if I were to ask me that question, is someone who's an information marketer making over $100,000 a year, typically in their business of information marketing. They could have an additional income elsewhere, but they're making over 6 figures in their information business, and they're looking to fix their funnel because their funnel is messed up, right? And the 2 ideal outcomes that they want, or results they want, is they want a funnel that's working, and they want more high-end clients. Those are the 2 ideal results. So many times I'm dealing with someone dealing in the medical field, and they have an information business with them, or in the bookkeeping field, or in the marketing field. Doesn't matter. It could be hard or soft topic. Let's say, for example, you're dealing with someone who's a coach, and they're dealing with hypnotherapists, and they teach hypnotherapists. Well, the 2 results that they want possibly are more clients and lowering their cost of acquisition, or a better referral system. Okay, it doesn't always have to be business to business as well, but that's your first gap question. The second can be, what is your monthly financial goal, right, in the next 12 months? So what's a monthly goal you want in the next 12 months? Now, let's say you don't want to make it about finance. What's the size of your list you want in the next 12 months? It doesn't always have to be about money. Now you're setting up this gap. The gap is where you are to where you want to be. So I'll always hear, for financial, I'll hear, I want to be at $10,000 a month. I go, great. Many times I'll hear 20. I'll say, well, can we just make it 10? Okay, so that's part of the process. So they'll say yes. I'll say great. Then my next question is, what are you making monthly right now? I've never had anyone say I'm not going to tell you. I say, well, if you're not going to tell me, end of interview. I just need to know where your gap is. I mean, there's no question why you're not where you want to be. Why are you here? I mean, just tell me what you're making. That's all. If you don't want to tell me, I can't help you. So that's never gotten in the way. I thought it would in the beginning, but it never does. So they'll tell me, many times they'll lie. They'll say 8,000 a month. I go, can we say 5? And they'll say, sure. How about 4? They'll say, right? And I know that 8 was a lie. So it's all these little tricks that their little voice is playing. I'll say, let's go with 5. So the next question I ask them is, how much is your cost of inaction right now for you? What's your COI? What is your cost of inaction? Now, this is a very unique question that I don't know anyone else who asked this question. I think I coined the term. I don't care who coined it. It just makes a lot of money for me. I think I did. But what's COI? Now, I never talk about ROI, which is another term, because ROI, I have no impact on ROI, folks. Only they can impact ROI. An ROI is a promise. I'm talking about what are you losing each month by not making a change? What's your cost of inaction? It's a very powerful question because they have to own it. Mark, are you with me on this concept?
With you.
Yeah.
I'm with 100%. Can you hear me?
They have to own it. So they'll tell me $5,000 a month. So I'll say, great. Now let me be clear, I tell them. This is my interview. What you're telling me is by not taking action, okay, it's costing you about $5,000 a month at this point. I don't want you to take action with me. I'm not ready even to know if you're a good fit with me. That's what I tell them, right? Some people may call that a takeaway. To me, it's called the truth. I don't know if they're right, but I want to establish not making change. I want the pain of inaction to be very high. And then they say $5,000 a month. I say, what's it going to cost you over 12 months? They say $60,000. I go, great. I tell them, I'm not going to tell you what return on investment you'll get with me. I'll say, that's up to you. I can tell you what others have gotten, but I can't tell you what you're going to get. In fact, I'm going to enroll you in a $25,000 program that I want you to say yes to, and the only guarantee I can offer you is that you will never see that $25,000 again. Shall we continue? And they laugh, and they go ahead, yeah, sure. See, so I've established that I don't go, $25,000. I don't do that. And I don't say, you're guaranteed. You're going to get twice the investment, 3 times the investment. I don't say that. I say, you are never going to see that money again. And if I think they have a sense of humor, I go, I got 2 more guarantees. You ready? And they go, okay, bring it on. I say, you're going to die at some time. And if you're honest, you're going to pay taxes. Okay? So you're never going to see that money again. You're going to die and you're going to pay taxes. Those are the only guarantees I can offer you. Shall I continue? They laugh, and I have just set more rapport with them. Now, if they decide to leave, I had no chance with them whatsoever. But that's how you got to get them early on. Comments.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt for just a second because now think about how those expectations are set up. Anything above that, okay, now you've exceeded their expectations.
Yeah. They've exceeded their expectations, and also I'm just getting them pain associated with making change, not making change with me. That's way too confrontational. Now, I asked them to do the math. What are you losing each day, each month, right? And then I asked them, why do you think it's not happening right now? What's preventing you from making that 10K a month, or whatever number they got? Or what's preventing you from reaching your 12-month goal? Whether it's 100,000 people on your list, or if it's making your break-even point, it could be anything they told me. The gap is from where they want to be, between that and where they are today. That is called a gap conversation. It's nothing new, but in case you didn't know, that's what it is. All right. So then I ask them after, I tell them, why do you think you're not there now? What's preventing you? They tell me they're like little inner voice game that they're playing. Then I say, what's going to happen if you don't fix this? Wow, more pain. See, I haven't gone to the solution yet. The biggest mistake people make is they jump straight to the solution. What's going to happen if you don't fix this? Okay? Then I ask them, where will you be in 6 months if this doesn't change? So I take them to half the road and say, hey, I'm not declaring anything. I'm not going to say I can do anything. Where will you be halfway down the road if you don't change this thing? Forget changing it with me. And then they tell me, now they're really in pain. I go, well, if that happens, what does that mean to you and your family? See, we keep going deeper and deeper and deeper because I believe, this is a personal belief, okay? You don't have to believe this to be true. In fact, don't believe it. Just take it from your own experience. I believe you cannot motivate someone to buy from you. They have to be self-motivated. And the only way they can be self-motivated is for them to acknowledge the amount of pain they're in right now. So it's at suffering stage. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. But if they're at the point of suffering, and then they're looking for a change, and then only at that point can you present the change as you being the right solution for them. But if you jump to the solution too quickly, then you are, pardon the expression, pimping yourself, and that is not going to get you the result that you want. Okay?
You know what? This is really valuable if you think about what's going on here, because it's really a mental game that's going on inside the mind of the client. And if you think about this, as a matter of fact, Gene Schwartz said something so amazing that I think is really apropos here. If you think of it, he said, he was one of the most brilliant copywriters ever, and he said something about the business he was in, and he says, we're not in the business of selling mousetraps. He says, we're in the business of selling bigger mice. And he said, it's about really helping them realize how large those rats really are. And when people really realize how large they are, how dangerous they are, how disease infested they are, then they're willing to get rid of them. If they don't know, if they're not thinking about it, if it's not at top of mind, it's never going to be something that they're willing to invest in the solution with.
And I ask them, how does it feel? How does that possibility or that future feel? And I just keep going deeper, and people tell me, Alex, why don't you give them a break? I go, no, it is my duty, it is my dharma, it is their dharma to acknowledge how painful it is, because they have been numb. They're taking themselves out, and they are not living the lifestyle they deserve because they haven't taken action. Forget it, taking action with me. And then I tell them the final question, which you ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being strongest, what is your priority for making change right now? You see where I got? I mean, I didn't go there right away. I ask them right there, and if I hear a 9 or a 10, I continue. If I hear an 8 or a 7, I would say, what would make it a 10? If I hear a 6 to a 0, I'd say, well, what's your reason or reasons behind your score? I don't continue. Conversation is over unless I get a 9 or a 10. All right? That's called assessment. And so that's all I'm going to dig deep. I'll go much deeper at the event. I've given you plenty to work with. But the fourth question is, what are your assessment statements? Okay? Now, I just gave you one assessment statement. Now, what if you knew their gap before they came in? Now, let me show you what I mean by this. What if you knew the gap before they came in? In fact, you've already diagnosed them. Well, the assessment that you give them, or the assessment statements that I'll teach you, I can't teach you during this hangout, but I will show you what mine looks like. This is my assessment before they do a strategy session with me. And this tool that I have is a scientifically tested tool. The copy is done for you. I've written it. And then we have 5 sections. We have vision, and they're all based on 1 to 10 scale. Okay? 10 being highest, that's a 9. This is a 3. This is a 10. A 4, if they give me a 4, that means I've given this some attention. 0 is I haven't addressed this at all, right? So mindset, strategy, implementation. Now here's the best part. This is where most people waste their time. I do group sessions. If I don't have a 35 score or better with commitment, then I don't talk to them. I send them directly to a product sale. If I don't have a 35 score or better in commitment, I send them to a product sale. And guess what? I have opt-ins of members who want strategy sessions or who are high-ticket item folks. I'm already separating them from the low ticket. Do you separate your low ticket and high ticket? You separate your normal and regular clients from your premium? I don't think you do. Well, here's a way to do it. Because what they're aiming for is the report of findings. When they click this box, they're like saying, you just took a picture of me, Alex, and I want to see myself in that picture with the rest of the members of my family. Right? Even Mark, as probably selfless as he is, and as loving as he is, he probably looks for his picture in his own family picture of probably if he brought extended family, there's 60 people there. But he's got his family, and it's in the teens, and so when he's looking for himself, that's what the report of findings is. So, what are your assessment statements? Funnel Marketing Blueprint is mine. They're my assessment statements. You should have assessment. We will teach you how to do it. We'll even give you a tool to do it. And then finally, what's your conversion presentation? Now, the conversion presentation to me is a pre-recorded, let me repeat, a pre-recorded event. Now, my pre-recorded event is at marketingonline.com alexvideotips.com/VQ. And that's a presentation that I do. Here it is. Let me show it to you.
Change with me. I'm not asking you to change with me. That'll come later. But just making a change. They say, well, 5,000 a month? I go, that's correct. And what's 5,000 times 12? And then I interrupt. I go, that is $60,000 a year. That is your gap. Now, what's preventing you from making that change? Set up an audition for me already. How are you going to feel if that change doesn't happen?
Now, that is on a pre-recorded, that's on my YouTube video, but that's actually in a pre-recorded webinar where I used a new concept using a Hangout. Anytime I say something meaningful, I come to the Hangout, and anytime that I'm teaching, I use a PowerPoint. So it's a hybrid. It's a brand new format, and it's converting. It's a process that's working. I'll be teaching that at the membership site intensive as well. I'll even introduce you to the woman who invented the value quiz, which is a concept that is the scientifically tested method of assessment. Now, imagine if you bring those 5 questions into your consciousness. Here are the 5 questions again. This is what makes a world-class premium client funnel. First question is, what is your downsell? You better have one. Next question is, what's your core sell? That's your high-end offer. You better have one. What are your gap questions? I gave you mine. I gave a few of mine. What are your assessment statements? You must have assessment statements before they take your strategy session to find out whether or not they're committed. Now, you don't need those, but you'll be wasting time if you don't have them. So it's better to automate the process. And then what's your conversion presentation? If they don't have a high level of commitment to meet with you, rather than sending them to a strategy session, okay, so there's low commitment, LC, and there's high commitment, HC. Now, low commitment, they go to a presentation. A high commitment, they go to a strategy session, right? So they're coming in, and this is at the very top, the assessment. They're getting assessed, and if they found that you found that they have a low commitment, then you send them to a presentation because you don't want to use human hours with them. If they have high commitment, then you take them straight to a strategy session, and you get them right then and there. So how committed they are, we've asked them on the strategy session, but prior to that, we asked them on the members' assessment that they're going through. And all of that is automated. All of that is done amazingly well. And I'm ready to invite people to the event, but let's go back to you, Mark. Because
actually, I'm going to suggest we go in there. There's a question I want to ask you, and I'll tell you what the question is because I think everybody else is going to hear it, which is how does membership sites equate to the strategy sessions and how they connect and how does that all work? Let's kind of just give them something about that after we're done explaining a little bit about what we're doing here. So first thing I want to let you know is that whatever we're going to talk about here is available kind of in 2 places. To the right of this Google Hangout here, on the right on the page, you're going to see a little link that says get the premium clients training and coaching free. Just click the button and it'll open up a page of just type in your name and email address and phone number, and then it'll take you to the page that has all about this really amazing event that will literally walk you through not only the membership site part of this, but really the monetization part of this and the premium clients version of this. So Alex, why don't you talk a little bit about the event first, and we'll talk about some of the other things that are involved.
Well, if you click the button, you're going to experience the premium process because Mark will take you through it. And if you click the button to register, then you're going to get 2 months worth of open office hours with me where you and I can dialogue how to do this process after the event. but you have to attend the event in order to get the open office hours. Now that's a $1,500 proposition. Other people are there, so you get to watch them. You're not the only one on the spot. You can eavesdrop, you can sit in the background, or you can dive in and do it yourself and ask questions. People do it either way. If they're shy, they kind of sit back and watch and they learn, or if they're more active, they get involved. But you got 8 times to do that with me, 55 minutes per time. And then productivity secrets.
Before you go on to that, let me explain what that is. What you're getting is you're getting access to one really personalized coaching. And it's not one-on-one, but it's one-on-many. But you're getting personal coaching from Alex himself on this, which means after he's taking you at the event, and his event, of course, doesn't just teach you how to do it. It actually is intensive, which actually he'll tell you about in a minute, but it actually has you getting it done right there on the spot, which means it's going to be done. But, of course, done in 3 days is different than done 30 to 60 days later, and there's things along the way that are happening, and literally he's going to help you tweak and modify and improve so that thing is done right, and basically you get that for 60 days. So, and that's a huge thing, and just think of the value of Alex's time in doing that. We talked about this last thing on how inexpensive that was to do it, but ultimately that's a $1,500 just what he would charge you to do this in that period of time. So it's an amazing bonus. So go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, people are in open office hours all the time because they prefer it. To me, it's great because it's not the $1,500. It's the proof of concept. I get so many case studies out of it that ends up becoming an appreciating asset just by itself. So it's kind of like going to heaven without the inconvenience of dying. Now, productivity secrets are 21 productivity strategies. If you go to productivitysecrets.com, it should be $5,000, but it's $500. And the reason is I wanted to make it affordable, and it's one of my flagship products, and it's one productivity tip a day for 21 days. Some people like to go over a 3-month period, but it's 21 tips. They're in video, they're in audio, so you can listen to it in dead time in your car or in the gym or walking your dog, and it's in the written format as well. Well, I'm going to give that to you at the event. So when you show up at the event, you will get the printed version inside your binder, which I'm paying for, and some trees are sacrificing themselves for. So there's $2,000 right there, and then the actual event is called the Membership Site Intensive, and that is worth $1,500, $1,000 for general admission, and then $500 more for VIP. So what we're doing is I'm taking out the VIP, and I'm going to pay you for the VIP. I'm going to pay your productivity secrets, and I'm going to pay for your open office hours. So you get in as a VIP, get access to the meals that we have going, to the VIP privileges and the VIP room, etc. All of that for $997 because of this guy, Mark Harris, and we have 5 slots. Now we have 108 people there. The room is full, but we have 5 slots for this offer. We may have 4. I know we don't have 6. And when you come in, you have to say a special word. 2 words, actually, when we call you. Premium client. Now, if you don't say the magic words, because you're going to sign up as a normal registrant at $997, ignore what the website says. No one else knows this but you because you're watching the Hangout. Ignore what the website says. Just sign up as a normal registrant. Then we're going to get a call into you. Her name is Sandra. She'll call you, say, what's the magic words? And then you'll say premium client, and then you'll get the open office hours, the productivity secrets, and the VIP seating at Membership Site Intensive. Everyone at the event is connected to the internet. What does that mean? I'm going to show you what that looks like. Everyone is connected to the event. So you're connected to the internet while you're there. So when you come to the web page, you're going to see 997 makes you eligible, blah, blah, blah. You're going to sign up as a normal registrant, okay? Now, as you scroll down, you will see a picture. This is where the event is at the QLN campus in Oceanside, California. It's in Southern California, a beautiful venue. And there's no hotel there. It's just a training center. And as you pass all these membership sites that I show you examples of, this is what the classroom looks like. Everyone is connected to the internet. Now that costs me a lot of money, a lot of bandwidth, and it's not easy to pull off. But we want you to walk out with a result, with your assessment, with your strategy session script, with your outsourcing that's done with you. We're going to do all of that with you. You'll get into teams, and you'll be making money before you leave that event. Okay? Now, I can't guarantee you'll be selling high-end clients, but you'll be making money before you leave the event. We've done it every single time we've done these events. And I don't think anyone's done more of these events than I have. I've done 24 of them. This is my 25th. And there's an art to it because everyone's connected to the internet. So that's what you get, and we're teaching how to sell the premium clients, high-ticket clients, high-end clients. And the simplest way to do that is to click the button that you see right in front of you to experience the premium process. There's non-premium process and premium process. You'll get to experience it with Mark. Mark, go ahead.
Now, what's my thought is, I want to tell you now, we just talked about how it's $9.97, but I want to talk to you about how it's free, okay? Because there's a special thing that I wanted to do with this, because there is a huge opportunity. Like you said, Alex has done this 25 times, all over the world. Some amazing things have happened with it, and him and I have been working together almost a decade, and he's a quality partner of mine, a quality friend. I mean, he's one of my children. No, but anyway, bottom line is that he can bring you to a certain level, and that certain level is really important in my business. See, my business is most of you know, is the partnering business, and what that means is, ultimately, it means I bring on partners and I sell you money 10 cents on a dollar. What that means is I bring you a partner. Partner could have 500,000, 100,000 people on a list or on a Facebook friends list or whatever it is. And what they've done is they send out for you, they promote you, they put you in their newsletter, they do whatever. They have webinars and hosting you, whatever the partnership entails. And ultimately, when I bring you in $100,000, you give me 10 grand. Okay? Now, let me just tell you how it works so you understand the concept. Ultimately, I cannot bring somebody who has a schlocky product, okay, to these guys, because they'll get refunds, and then basically I look like the bad guy for bringing somebody to them. Secondly, I can't also bring somebody who can't convert the people they bring to them, because remember, if you have a 100,000 person list, you're used to making maybe 25 to 50 grand maybe every time you send that list out, which means that if they don't bring in that kind of a revenue, at least it will look like, Mark, you didn't vet these guys, you didn't make it happen. But in a situation where you have walked through this process with Alex, I know you're going to make money. I know you're going to make plenty of money to be able to pay our partners a lot of money, and I know that I'm going to make money too, which means that I can actually become a partner with you, and it's possible now because of Alex's program, which means it's in my best interest to have more people going through Alex's program. In fact, I'm willing to pay you to go through Alex's program. Simply how it works is that you invest in the program, you take the program, do what it takes to actually make this thing happen. Do it. Follow his advice. Go through the open office hours. Make this thing convertible. And what I'll do is that my job, I actually have a done-for-you process for bringing on partners for people. Normally my team, we charge for it, but you're going to get that at no charge, and there's lots of neat little goodies in there too. Bottom line is that we will then start to work on bringing partners in for you. And my job is to bring in at least the first $10,000 in partners, and I'll work for you even if it takes a whole year doing so, okay? And that means working on bringing these partners to you so that we can have them to start promoting your offers, bringing people to your membership, bringing people to your back end, or what Alex said your downsell offers are, and bringing people to your premium offers. And when I bring in $10,000, or when you bring in $10,000, normally you would pay me $1,000. I get 10% of that. And that $1,000, the first $1,000, I'm going to actually allocate or reimburse you for this program, the first $1,000. Why am I doing that? Because I know we're going to make hundreds of thousands together, hopefully millions together, and we can do that when you do something like this kind of a program with Alex. So what's going to happen is you're going to click the button to the right, and it's going to say it's going to fill in a form. When you fill in that form, you'll get an email. The email tells you the detail of what we just talked about, because it's not on the web page. As Alex mentioned, those bonuses aren't there, and even what I just told you aren't there. It's here, recorded here, but it's also that's for your record, so you know what you got coming to you. And then, of course, when you join and go through this, you're going to end up getting this for free. And of course, I get a great partner. You can bring in $10,000 and get this training really actually this for free. So I suggest you doing it now. That being said, I want to ask you a question, Alex. So we've talked about this community building approach. We talked about how important membership sites are, and specifically because it filters these people down into long-term paying clients who've decided to have a long-term relationship with you. And now you've talked about what happens at some other point, which is this, we'll call it a, I don't know, we'll call it a strategy session or some kind of closing event. What's the connection between the two? I mean, will you tell us at least some of that process on this Hangout?
Well, you mean the high-end client coming in prior to becoming a client, or after?
Right. In other words, the membership and how the membership site stuff ties into eventually doing the strategy session. And what maybe there's because I know there's a whole process. You got like 10 little steps that kind of go in there. But if you could give us some of how the membership client system brings you to these people, or how at what point do you do that? Maybe it's the assessment or something like that. But just kind of give us a little bit of the connection between the two.
All right, so here's the connection. Many people believe that most people, some people can, but most people, I believe, in my experience, cannot make a living from a recurring income on a membership site. In fact, I've never had the membership site recurring income being the primary reason for its existence, right? I'm more interested in membership marketing, not membership site marketing. Membership site marketing, although it may seem like it's semantics, is making money on membership sites. Right now, membership sites have recurring revenue, but I have never made $1 million in recurring revenue from a membership site. Right? I'd like to, but I haven't. Now, maybe I'm not good at membership site marketing because I haven't made $1 million. I think I know some people who have, but it's really, really, really hard. It is not that hard to make $1 million out of members who come into a membership site, because the membership site is not the appreciating asset. The members within the membership site, the client, if you will, that's the appreciating asset. Now, if all they're doing is they're paying $27 a month, $99 a month, I have partners where there's $599 a month, right? Whatever they're paying, well, imagine if you got them to pay $25K. Or 10K. Aren't they more likely, because they have higher dollar value, they have more recency, and they have more frequency? Remember how we started? The laws of marketing: recency, frequency, and dollar value. They've paid you more money because they do it more frequently and they do it more recently. So when you go to that well, they're more likely to say yes, and you get to protect your confidence in a rejection-free setting, because a member in your community is more likely to say yes than a customer outside of your community. Let me repeat. A member inside your community, whether it's a free site, a membership site, or paid, is more likely to say yes. Why? Because they know, like, and trust you, because they understand you, and because they believe you, and as long as it's the right time, they're going to say yes, and they are connected to the other members of the community. They're more likely to say yes to a high-end sale. Now, why are they more likely to be long-term clients?
One more time before you go to the long-term clients. One thing about that was, one of the things I found with my members is that they don't want to tell you no, and that's one of the reasons why they want to tell you yes, because you've been helping them with great value for what they've been paying. You've been over-delivering, which you're one of the, you should really be the king of over-deliver. I've never seen, actually, that's one of the reasons why, you know, I love you so much. I think you're so awesome, is because you over-delivered. It started, you know, a decade ago, and tell us some of our secrets, okay, with these 8-hour power sessions, you know. But the fact is that over-delivering means that they know they're going to get the value, which that means that they hate to say no to you, because if they say no to you, they just decided to not be delivered in a huge way. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, also, a member is a commitment, is a long-term commitment by definition, whereas a customer is not. It's like the difference between someone going to a martial arts class and they're wearing their belt and they're wearing their gi, you know, their outfit, versus someone going in their t-shirt and they're not committed, right? They're passionate about it, but they're not committed. Passion produces commitment. Excuse me, commitment produces passion. Passion does not produce commitment. You think about that. You need the wood, commitment, before you get the passion. Fire. You don't have fire before the wood, all right? So I say that also at our events. You got to be committed first, then the passion comes up, because otherwise you can be passionate just like passionate people who are miserable, who are broke. A very passionate billionaire that took his life, a friend of mine I told you about, that passion doesn't produce the commitment. The commitment produces the passion. So when you look at members, they are committed because they're in there often. They're spending money with you constantly, or they're with you. They're spending their time, if not their money, constantly. And they're doing it most recently. So they're recent, they're frequent, and they're high dollar value, higher than most. So if I were to sequester or separate them from the other folks, that group is less likely to tell me no, maybe out of guilt, maybe out of commitment, maybe out of just their sense of belonging. They won't say no, or they will, but they're less likely to say no to me versus the other group. That's why a membership site is a site that has members. You don't have to worry about the recurring income you're generating. If you're getting some, great, $3,000-4,000 a month is great. But those people are more likely to say yes to a $25,000 deal than someone who is on your opt-in list. And that's all I'm saying. Where are you going to pull these high-end clients from? Well, Alex, why don't you just pull them from the entire list? Isn't that better? No. Why? Because you need human intervention. Well, so what? Well, isn't it better to protect your confidence having the right message to the right group versus having the wrong message to the wrong group, which is disaster, or the wrong message to the right group, which is stupid, or the right message to the wrong group, which is just being mindless? You want the right message to the right group. That's the perfect message to market match that Dan Kennedy talks about all the time, and his followers and herd and tribe and apostles, all the people who are emissaries of Dan, talk about the perfect message to market match. And so
That's beautiful. Matter of fact, I got to say something about it. Think about this. So if you had a market that it was 1 million people, would you really, if you think about this, would you want 100,000 members, or would you really want 5,000 members? And the answer is, believe it or not, 5,000 members. And if you understand the filtering that's been going on here, because what Alex is telling you is that if you had 100,000 members, even if you had 50,000 members, when it came down to it, you'd end up doing strategy sessions with people who aren't going to buy for you, don't have the money, aren't committed to a long-term relationship, and all of that. But if you have 5,000, okay, if on a good day, okay, you can get 10% of that group to buy into your high-end offers, which is 500 people. I mean, that would be really...
Yeah. Even 5%, right? And even if you don't... see, here's the other thing is, if you have a presentation that I can teach you how to create, you only talk to the people who are going to say yes, so you get a 20% conversion there and a 5% conversion from your presentation. This is what the big boys and girls do. I don't know why you're not doing it if you're watching it right now. The way you become a member and not just a customer is stop watching and start clicking. Click the button you see so someone can talk to you, and then you can decide whether or not. You can always say no, but you're going to say yes, and you want to be in the position to say yes so you continue this dialogue. Membership has its privileges. I didn't say that. American Express says that, and it does count.
I love it. Well, this has been fantastic, Alex. I think we got our power hour here in, so we're exactly 1 minute over, which isn't too bad. And I wanted to kind of keep it focused on that. So remember, if there's any other questions you have, you're not sure how it fits to your business or whatever the case may be, or if you just have other questions about how the program works, maybe the partnering works, or how the dates and places and issues regarding the event and things like that and logistics, then just click the little link on the right, and there'll be a little form. You'll fill it in. You'll go to the page. You can read the whole thing because it's unbelievable content there. Alex has addressed every issue, every question. He's shown dozens of people who have actually gone through the process, videos and how they've done it, and what they've done with it. He shows you everything, so you can see kind of what's in this, because in this 1 hour, in addition to the training, there's no way for us to go through all that stuff. But if you do that, you'll go to the page and it'll actually explain everything for you, so you can see what's actually included, and I think you'll be very well pleased. And lastly on that, if you have any questions, you can also reply to our emails, any of our emails we've been sending you, and we'll be glad to connect with you if you're having trouble with something, or if something's not working, or things like that. Some people had to do a couple of logistical things and with certain things, and sometimes you have questions, so please be sure to do that. Okay, Alex, give us any final words of wisdom on this great topic here.
Well, what would happen if you didn't do anything as a result of this hangout? Well, I think something terrible would happen. Nothing. Nothing would happen. So you've just wasted an hour, and you're not going to make a change. If you don't make a change with us, make a change in general to bridge the gap between where you want to be and where you are right now. Because the more you bridge the gap, this is more happiness. This is more happiness. This is suffering. The gap of suffering. You don't want to be apart. That's how the rest of the world is. That's why there's war, is this. Let's come together. I've been all over the world. I've been on all the continents. I've never heard once, how are we and the Americans the same? I always hear, how are we and the Americans different? Whether I'm in Italy, South Africa, Australia, doesn't matter what country, the United Kingdom, how are we different from the Americans? Or they say, how are the Americans different than us? We're not different. That's the wrong question. The question is, how are we the same? Well, the way your customers and clients and members are the same is they want to buy more recently, they want to buy more frequently, and they want to buy higher dollar amounts if you let them. If you don't let them, then they're going to go somewhere else to do it, and you're going to lose them. But what if that person stayed with you forever? What would that look like? You never lost a customer. There's only one path to do that. You have recency, frequency, and dollar value at this very height, at the pinnacle. You have high-end clients. They don't leave you. Why? Because they have committed. They are violating their own belief structure if they leave you because they paid so much money for you. Now, your self-esteem and your self-worth should be able to handle that, because I already gave you the example of $10,000 for a year meeting every single weekday. Start there and then say, Alex, I can't handle every day. How about twice a week? Great. How about once a week? Even better. 52 times for 10K is pretty good. Whatever your self-esteem allows, let me give your self-esteem a prod. I'm a pretty good prod at increasing self-esteem. You will come protected, and you will protect your confidence, and whoever else you bring the problem children in your life to the event. Let me work on them. You don't want to work on them. Let me work on them. And then when you leave, it'll be like a shovel to your forehead, and the reality is you deserve premium clients, but you can only have them if you have a premium client funnel. You can only have that if you do it yourself, and you can only do it yourself if you've taken the time I've taken over the years to try to figure it out. We have a shortcut, and all that's in the way right now is 997 George Washingtons. That's it. That's it. End of story. Thanks for playing. All right? Not even 10 Benjamin Franklins, who was our first millionaire in the United States, by the way. Right? Less than 10 Benjamin Franklins it will take. That's a $100 bill, by the way. So do what it takes, because I'm trying to be as creative as I can to get you to say yes. Mark, back to you.
Sounds good. This was fantastic. And there's so many things I want to say, but you said it perfectly, and I am just so excited about all you being there, because I want to meet with you. I want to mastermind with you. You know, we'll do some strategic partnering there, and we'll talk about some really great things that will happen. Alex is a brilliant teacher, and he will make sure that you are covered. He's got trained coaches. He's got people who are going to walk you through it. You're going to get it done, and then he's got follow-through that will knock your socks off and make this all happen. So ultimately, click the button. We'll see you there. And if you have any questions, please be sure to email us, or we'll be in contact with you to see how we can help solve any of your challenges you may have. Anyway, looking forward to seeing you there. Have a great and blessed day and a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.